Recording in progress.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Oh, I gotta plug in my microphone here. The good microphone. Plug in the good microphone. That's what I want. All right. So, my goodness, what happened yesterday? Well, here's Sunday's opening range right here. Oh, sorry guys, let me put this into the chat. Kabam. There we go. So, what happened yesterday? Well, we had Sunday's opening range. Let's take a look at it. Sunday's opening range right here, very bearish candle with a ton of upward momentum behind it, right? Look at the gap up on Sunday. Huge gap up on Sunday. I was waiting right here, ready to go. As soon as it turned 6 o'clock, I hit the buy order, market order, got in right here, and it went all the way up to here, bounced around for a while, and right here at the breakout, I took four more contracts, and it only went boop, right to there. It went up to like 300 and something dollars, and it was very late at night. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Obviously, I was sleeping, and this thing came all the way back down. And because I had one contract here and then four contracts here, it averaged out right to here. So it pulled back, and I did get risk free. And you can see I made a whopping $11.30 here, right? Unbelievable. So, I took a chance. It was very late at night, obviously, and I did stay up late, a bit late, to manage it. But then, look, you gotta get your sleep. So what do we have here now? An extended trend, right? It went all the way up. It was in that fifth wave on the 15-minute chart. What about the 5-minute chart? The 5-minute chart did not become extended, but the 15-minute did, right? 15-minute chart became extended. And what happens in an extended trend? Well, it needs to recalculate, right? It needs to come back, recalculate below the 50, and then continue to move up, right? The problem today, is that we've got the 3 hour and the 1 hour trends are extended. 3 hour and 1 hour trends are extended. So this has to be a deep pullback here. Looks like we could fill the gap, right? On the 1 hour, if we pull back to here on the 1 hour, we could fill the gap, and that would look like this. I would draw it just like that, because it's got to come below here, fill the gap. Maybe it hits the previous day's close, but the 1 hour candle it has to close below the 50 here now. And we're getting a very bullish candle on the opening range, so we don't have we don't have a what do you call, we don't have a premium setup here. Really nice breakout candle forming, but you can see these conditions help us with timing the market as well. And you can never really time the market, but you can see how the timing would be off. Oh, we have this really nice bullish candle, but the trend has just become extended on the 1 hour and the 3 hour. So does this kind of break out to the upside and put in this will be the sixth wave, seventh wave? If we take the breakout, because this is a very bullish candle, but we don't have the momentum. We don't have the momentum. And so this could be this might form, that might lead me to believe that this will form a double top. This might form a double top right here. Where is ADR? ADR checkpoint all the way up here. My God, I thought all of that was going to happen last night, and then we were going to get a retest of the Sunday opening range, and it was just going to be glorious. And that didn't work. That didn't happen. So, but I got risk free, right? That's what you've got to do. You got to go for it, and then you have to get risk free. Now, I'm going to be writing some notes today for myself on what exactly is a premium setup. And I will share those notes with you in the chat. Okay. But I think it's pretty simple. It's what we've been going over right along. But more like the conditions, like let's say all of your conditions are met, and in this particular case they were, right, on Sunday. All conditions were met on Sunday. Let's take a look at it. I'm not going to trade anything today. These are mixed signals that we've got with an extended trend. I got to walk away from it. But let's take a look at Sunday and just go over what happened here. Okay. What is going on? I want my 15-minute chart. Okay. All right. Here's the opening range, right? Here's the top of the 15-minute candle, the bottom of the 15-minute candle, right? 6 p.m. Eastern, market opens, and all of our conditions are met, right? 3-hour chart, CCI above the zero line. 1-hour chart, CCI above the zero line. In fact, both of them were hitting 200. Both the 3-hour and the 1-hour charts were hitting positive 200 on CCI. We had everything. And what did this thing do? What did it do? It formed a bearish candle on the opening range. Okay. Okay, fine. We'll see if this turns around, and it did. But with all of that strength and momentum and trend working together across multiple time frames. And what does this thing do? It breaks to the downside? What? Like that right there. And I was already in one contract at the open, right? Very safe move, right? Very safe move. Pulled back, gave me a little heat, not much, and then started to climb. And I said, aha, okay, here we go. But the fact that we had all that momentum and trend working together on the 3-hour and 1-hour chart, and this thing broke to the downside, that automatically limits this setup from being a premium setup. That is the point I want to drive home in this video today. This should have alerted me that when and if this thing breaks out, you better trail it with a very tight stop and capture whatever it's going to give you. But that was very late at night. And, I can't stay up all night and manage a trade. Can't do that. You'll wreck yourself, right? So I got risk free and, it hung in there. It hung in there all the way up to here, didn't go very far, and then completely collapsed because what was going on? Well, you had the extended trend forming on the 3-hour, the 1-hour, and the 15-minute chart. All 3 time frames, the trend became extended, and it said, "Hey, sorry, but trend is extended, and we need to fuel up." Right? That's like a car running out of gas and the extended trend, those blue lights on your trend cloud system. That's the gas light going on. Only I was asleep, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I think this happened at 3 o'clock in the morning. It maxed out 2 a.m., 2:30, and then started pulling back right around 2 a.m. Right? I was sleeping, dreaming about big profits, and then right around, was it 3? It came all the way back and hit my zero line. I was risk free, and I made risk. I pulled it up above my entry about $10, $11 or whatever, and it pulled back. So it went to like 300, made like 300 something bucks, looks like it, and then came back and stopped me out and said $10. So that was unfortunate. Okay, so we got 1 minute to go here. Let's get rid of all this. We'll get rid of Sunday opening range, and we will watch the opening range form. So you see, it did pull back. This was previous day's high. That was a good. This is a really good area to get in on. Didn't quite pull back all the way to here and fill the gap. See, did not fill the gap. I'm wondering if we get the same thing. Let's recalculate the chart here. Nice opening range. There you go. Opening range is formed, and this thing is probably going to break out to the upside now. Unbelievable. This is not a premium setup, right? Because we've got the uptrend. We've got the uptrend on the 3-hour and the 1-hour CCI, right? Still maintaining its composure above the zero line. There you go. Unbelievable. But the 1-hour chart is extended, and we are below negative 100 here. So this is probably not going to go very far, at least, from what I'm seeing. So that's unfortunate. and I have to walk away because it's not a premium setup. But look at that. Look at that 1 hour candle. Very bullish candle. Very bullish candle. I think we may have I think this may double. Look at Jesus Christ. Look at this. Unbelievable. Sometimes the market isn't going to make sense, man. Sometimes it's not going to make any sense. And if it doesn't make sense and it's not following your setup, do you really want to be a part of that? Do you really want to go into a situation where you don't really know what's going on? That's how I have to look at it. That's how you have to look at it. Where am I going? It's like you've never been to this place before, so you don't know the terrain, and you're in the walking in the woods in the dark without a GPS. When you don't know what's going on, you may see it working, right? You may see the trade working out, but you have no data on that. You have no data on what's going on. All we can do is trade what we see using a strategy and a system that we've back tested. We've got great numbers. We've got great numbers on this modified version of the opening range that we call, trend cloud. Our trend cloud system is assisting us in this modified version of the opening range, and we've got great data on it. We have fantastic numbers. I think we should use it, right? It served us so well in competition and now in the combine. I mean, technically, I've only been in the combine for 12, yeah, I have 12 completed days in the combine, and I'm almost at my goal, right? 1835. And that's because I'm trading the micros. And in fact, Topstep, when you look at my numbers, Topstep, I can't remember where I read it, but they recommended, because I have a 70% win rate or 72% win rate, they recommended that I increase my contracts. And maybe that means trading, one premium setups, trading one full contract of the NASDAQ. We know the market is open. Thank you. That's interesting. 49. Wonder why it said the market is open. It's kind of a delayed response. Market opened at 9:30. And that was like a 9-minute delay on that. I gotta ask them about that. The other thing that I've noticed on Topstep, guys, I would not rely on the tilt at all or this thing. Dom, I would not rely on this. If you see whatever you see on there, in fact, I would do the opposite. If you see on the tilt that more people are going short, I would take the other side of that, because I think there's a lot more people in this world that don't know what they're doing, and that's not a bad position to take. The other thing I want to show you is my target that I had. Check this out. I had a Fibonacci extension on here, and look where it was. Here's where my target was. Right here, guys. The very first Fibonacci extension level, 1.222 or 1.272. Let's make that darker. Let's make it black for now. Look at that. 1.272. And I even front runned it a little bit. You know how it's good to front run your fib lines and stuff? I was like right there. And look what it did. It broke to the upside and didn't quite make it to that first fib level and then collapsed, So very interesting, right? Of course, that's no good anymore, so we'll get rid of that and we'll get rid of these lines. I'm going to keep this as previous day's high right here, right? The previous day's high, that red line, previous day's high. That's what it that's what it liked, right? This is what I wanted when we were back here, When we were back here, I said it's going to break through this, and I was waiting to get in 4 contracts. Right. I was in one contract here. I was like, oh, okay, it's going to pull back to the previous day's high, try to fill the gap maybe, and then take off. And it didn't. It broke to the upside and got me into my 4 contracts there. Right. Simply the trade was just simply starting to pull back, right? Right here, that's our 15-minute candle. So let's put our lines on there. Get rid of these dotted lines here, and we will take the new opening range right there. There we go. There's our opening range that we will watch. Wow. So we got, I mean, I guess it's a bullish candle. Let's drop to the 5. This is at another 2 minutes left about. 5-minute candle starting to close outside and above the opening range. My goodness. Nothing we can do about it, right? There are people who just use that as the determining factor for, for their opening range move. And that's great. But we have a more complex type of system. We look at the trend on the higher time frame. We look at the momentum on the highest time frame, right? 3-hour momentum CCI, 1-hour trend, and 1-hour CCI. And then we have our bonus components, right? Bullish candle formed the opening range. Yeah, okay, good. 5-minute candle closed above the opening range. Ah, okay, that's the second bonus component, right? So we've got our two bonus components. I don't know, maybe we come up with some rules that say two bonus components equal one main component. I would rather just, wait for all my conditions to be met and then see some bonus components as well. Now you've got something, right? Now you've got something. All right, so we're just starting to break out to the upside here. This is what we wanted yesterday. We didn't get it, right, on the Sunday Sunday opening range. I don't know how far this is going to go. Let's drop to the 5 now. Oops, we need our 1 hour, please. 1 hour, 3 hour, and then we'll watch this on the 5-minute. Unbelievable, right? Nothing, nothing we can do about that. There's nothing we can do about that. There we go. Let's try to make that even. So, yeah, so, what do you think? Just looking at this picture, and seeing extended trend on the 3-hour, extended trend on the 1 hour, maybe maybe there's enough in the tank here to move this up and double top, right? Maybe we're looking at a double top. Maybe we're looking at, maybe this thing goes 7 waves, right? 5, 6, 7. We've seen that happen, but do we want to be a part of this? Wow, that's a rough one. I'm almost at my goal. I'm almost at my goal in the combine. Do I want to risk something on a non-premium setup? Look at the wicks on there right now. It's right. It's hitting. What's it hitting here? Let's open up the 5. Okay, right. Yeah, just well, obviously it's hitting this, right? Went a little bit past it. Let's go out to the 15. Nothing much. What about the 30-minute? No, nothing much on the 30-minute either. 30-minute, 3, 4, right? Deep pullback to the 4. 30-minute is actually recalculating. See how the candle closed below the 50? Recalculate. So we're going to have a fresh new trend on the 30-minute, but we've got the 3-hour and the 1 hour. When the 3-hour chart becomes extended, guys, 3-hour chart becomes extended, you are looking at all the way down here to recalculate. So maybe this does give us, maybe this gives us a 7th wave on the 1 hour, but just barely, and then starts to collapse. So that leads me to believe that, if price really doesn't want to pull all the way back here below the 50 on the 3-hour, that means we'll probably, maybe the next couple of days are just going to be sideways. And in a sideways market, the trend cloud system starts to compress, right? It starts to compress like this right here, right? It starts to squish together and then it expands, right? Contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion. Sideways contracts the trend cloud, sideways movement contracts the trend cloud. and then you get this upward movement and the trend cloud starts to expand. And we really were on the move. We were on the move, but that's about it. I think we're going to see price action kind of struggle to get up to the top there, but we've got such a great system that gives us what we want eventually, right? Our goal is to make sure we've got at least $3,000 by the end of the month in this combine. And once we hit that, will be put into the Express account and we can have up to 5 accounts, right? So I did look that up. You can have 5 accounts going. I know Kazi found something that said you can have as many accounts as you want. I got to find out exactly what that means. But my goal is to finish up the combine on this account and then open up 4 more combines and start making money on this account while I am passing the 4 combines at the same time and turning those into Express accounts, right? So that would be about $15,000 profit by the end of each month. And I really like the $2,000 drawdown limit. I really like that. Is it a bit tight? Yeah, but if you think about it, who the hell wants to lose more than $2,000 of your profit that you've made? It really forces you to think that way. I like it. I really like it. Make it happen. Don't lose the $2,000 drawdown. Don't lose the $2,000 profit. If you make 4,000, you have to have it in your head. I cannot lose, I can't go below 2,000. And believe me, if you write that out in your notebook, you write it out, make that affirmation. 2,000 max loss, $2,000. Don't lose more than $2,000 of your profit, right? Ever. You make 10 grand. Don't lose $2,000 of that 10 grand. You make 12 grand. Don't lose more than $2,000 of that 12 grand, whatever. I think that's a great rule to live by. And who cares if it's tougher? All you have to do is hit that $3,000 profit target. And because we've got such a great, system and we only trade premium setups, you're going to hit it very quickly, right? And I've got the risk management team at Topstep telling me that, hey, you're doing really well. You're over 70% accurate here. Hey, Chris, why don't you start to increase your contract size? They're actually telling me to increase my contract size. And that means, maybe we'll trade, 7 micros instead of the 5. Or maybe, on a premium setup, we can trade 1 contract of the full NASDAQ. I think that's what we were doing in competition. The last competition, we did that. And guess what? We got into the top 7% out of 60,000 people or whatever it was, 56,000 people competing. So we do very well when we scale out of the position with the micros. And we do very well when we pick targets using the full contract of the NASDAQ, right? And I'm pretty confident now with these premium setups, I'm pretty confident to trade 2 full contracts of the NASDAQ and take one off very quickly. And I think that's what I'm going to do. 2 contracts on the breakout of a premium setup, take one off, hit that. You can hit $200 very quickly. You can hit $200 very quickly. And I think I'll be able to build a cushion very quickly because 2 contracts on the NASDAQ, you'll hit 1,000 or $1,500 very quickly, if it reverses on you. So if you're 70% accurate, you got to hope that the first few premium setups that you take work out, and so far they have. So it's all about building up a buffer first. You have to build up that buffer. So you trade the micros. In fact, I think I put that through ChatGPT as well. And I mentioned what the Topstep team was telling me. And it said, here's a game plan. Use the micros to build up a buffer and a cushion with your drawdown. And then start going for those full contracts. Start using those full contracts. Now let's take a look. Let's take a look here. Get out of my way, man. Come on. 15 minute, 5 minute chart. Okay, right. It's after 10, and this is what we've got. Okay, it's understandable. This is kind of what Sunday was looking like. Broke out to the upside, broke out to the upside, and is kind of just consolidating right now. It's trying to cross back over, trying to cross back over. My goodness, this was so. Sunday, man, oh man, started giving me signals here. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's what I'm going through right now. Oh, I should have why didn't I just take profit right here? In hindsight now, and again, I'm going to be writing this out for myself today. What is a premium setup? And in this particular case, we had all conditions met, but it did not break out to the upside first. It broke out to the downside. If you have all of your conditions met, 3 hour CCI above the zero line, 1 hour CCI above the zero line, 1 hour trend is strong uptrend, right? We had this gap up even. All conditions are met, but price breaks out to the downside first on that opening range, not a premium setup. Doesn't mean you don't have to take the trade. What I'm saying is it broke out to the downside first. I should have taken a shallow target because of that. And it was very late at night on a Sunday. And we had a bearish candle form the opening range. And then it broke out to the downside first. Even the 5 minute candle even closed below the opening range, and then it did reverse, right? Then it did reverse and go to the upside. But it was late at night, and I think I stayed up to like 1:30 or so. It was like 1:30, and I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm going to bed. I'll get risk free. $11, surely this thing is going to hit that first Fibonacci extension level. And it didn't. And I woke up and I was like, I can't believe it. Dollars. I thought I was going to have like $1,000 in my account. It was quite ambitious. But anyway, I protected my capital, right? You definitely want to be risk free if you're going to hold something overnight. You definitely want to be risk free. I would not be risk free in I would not hold anything over the weekend. I've never seen a gap up Monday through Friday. I've never seen a gap up Monday through I think I would say very rarely. You don't see it. Sundays, you see the gap up. Sundays, you see the gap up or gap down. And that can totally miss your target. So anyway, let's see. We've got about 8 minutes left in this Zoom meeting here. You guys get the gist of it. 5 minute chart, right? We got the crossover there. We've got the crossover there, just starting. A little bit of a retest. Ooh, wow, big move down. And there you go, right? People are probably right now, people who don't know how to read an extended trend and have never studied Elliott wave. And this is not specifically Elliott wave. I couldn't program Elliott wave into Trend Cloud. This is like a modified version of Elliott wave. It's a very simple format of Elliott wave. But guys, I mean, right, it works pretty darn well, doesn't it? Works pretty darn well. So gives us great readings, and look what's going on, right? Extended trend on the 1 hour. People who don't read or bother to understand extended trends, they're miserable right now. They're miserable, right? They're like, what? I don't understand. Broke out, 5 minute candle, broke to the upside. I don't get it. So if anything, like I said, if anything, this is going to double top here. Maybe it squeaks out a little bit above here. And then, 1 hour definitely wants to break below here. The unfortunate thing is that the 3 hour is now also starting to become extended, and we may have a serious pullback here. And we are almost at the end of the month. That really sucks. I really wanted to pass the combine by the end of the month, and I don't want to get too jumpy. Don't want to get too froggy because, don't want to set myself back, take a full stop out, right? I think at this point, $250 is my limit. 250 is going to have to really cover me on each trade from now on. I started off at like a $500 risk, built up my cushion, and now I don't want to do a $500 risk now. I don't want to lose that cushion. I think that's a very good way to practice this, you know. So $250, that's going to be my limit. Even 200 would be even better, you know. But I'm just going to look for a premium setup and then go for it, you know. And if I see something, see something good, definitely don't want to be going short on the NASDAQ though. That's the thing. And we didn't really bother to look at anything else. What is the MES doing? Oh, wow. Okay. This is interesting. So take a look at the S&P here. Super. Oh my God. Ninth wave up. 1 hour, 3 hour extended. Right. So we actually are in the seventh wave. Look at that, guys. Seventh wave on the S&P. I thought we were going to have a big day, guys, because Trump just did that deal, the tariff deal with the UK. Geez, breaking out in an extended trend. How about the Dow? Let's see. Interesting. So the Dow is not extended, but we have just become recalculated here. Interesting. We may want to focus here. We may want to focus on the Dow. Let's take a look at something here. Let's go out to the 15-minute. Okay, so we're in a downtrend on the 15-minute. We're recalculating. We just started to recalculate. Look at how the Dow filled the gap. Look at how the Dow filled the gap. And now we're just starting to break out to the upside on the Dow. We don't have our conditions met. Let's get rid of all this nonsense here. You know what, guys? We may be better off focusing on the Dow for the last couple of trades because we don't have an extended trend on the 3 hour and the 1 hour on the Dow. In fact, we filled the gap and we're starting to head back up. Interesting. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Who do we have in here? Seth, Eddie. Awesome to see you guys. All right. I'm sure all of that makes sense, right, guys? Good stuff. Got about a minute 50 left in the Zoom. Yeah, so that is what we look for, right? Premium setups make us the most money, and if you do that, I think you're going to do just fine. It's going to be pretty exciting, guys. I'm opening up those 4 other Combine accounts. I'm going to do it anyway. At the end of the month, I'm still going to open up the accounts, even if this isn't passed just yet, because I'm super confident I'm going to pass this thing relatively quickly. Looking at these premium setups, taking some premium setups here, and I think the last few trades to pass this combine might be better done on the Dow because the Dow is not extended. The Dow is not extended. How about the Russell? What's the Russell looking like? Micro Russell. Micro Russell also filled the gap. That Micro Russell's looking kind of ugly. Ooh, no. Micro Russell, no good. Downtrend on the 1 hour, sideways. Look at this, breaks to the upside, rips all the way back down. I don't like it at all. Russell looks terrible. ES, super extended on the ES here. Now the ES is going to recalculate on the 1 hour.